In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole, filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort.
Hello everyone, I'm Kat from the Littlestown Library of the Adams County Library System, and welcome to our tiny art for adults and teens. This installment is the first of our literary trio, and we're going to be doing a painting inspired by the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, who most famously wrote The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So we are going to do a Hobbit home. So if you signed up for an art kit, then you will receive the following: one blank 4x4 canvas, a tiny easel, one paintbrush, and 6 paint pots with the following colors: green, yellow, white, a dark or ultramarine blue, brown, and black. So that's what you'll receive if you signed up for an art kit, or if you have your own materials at home, then you can use those. I also recommend that you have a container to hold water in it to clean your brush between colors. And for this one in particular, it will be very useful to have a paper plate or a plastic lid that doesn't fit anything, or if you have an actual paint palette, then you'll want one of those in order to mix your colors, because we're going to be doing a little bit more of that with this particular one. I also recommend that you have some paper towels or napkins to lay down so you don't get paint everywhere, and then also to clean your brush in between colors. So without further ado, let's get painting. Okay, so what we're first going to do is we are going to do the top green part of the Hobbit house, since they're built into hills. If you want to have a little bit of sky up above, you certainly can. If you'd rather just fill it up entirely green on the top, that's totally fine. So just kind of give sort of a hillish, greenish look to it, and then we'll just go down about to here-ish. It depends on how much green you want to be a part of your Hobbit house, because the turf and greenery forms just the roof and everything, so you don't want it to go all the way down. And then we'll just kind of, and then we'll make a circular bit for the door in just a moment. But first we're gonna rough in, and this can change. Like if you decide, oh, I want more green, like you can add more green and make it go down further. That's totally fine. It's whatever you think will work best for you for your Hobbit house. So, and if you have sides to your canvas, make sure that you get the edges as well, so that way it continues all the way across. And whoops, sorry about the shadow there. Okay, so I know it looks a little bit dark on the camera, but you are using like the sap green there, so just kind of giving it just sort of a look there. And again, we can always add more. So I'm just going to leave mine like that for the moment. Then I'm going to clean my brush. And I'm going to take some of the brown. And I'm going to rough in the door frame Now, if you want, you can get like an actual like circular thing to trace if you want, or you can freehand it. I'm just freehanding it because this is all kind of impressionistic. So trying to just get the basic circle shape in there. And then if you can either put it in the center like I did, or if you want to put it off to the side, you can do that. If you want to add like windows, then this is the time to kind of rough those in as well. If you are a more talented drawer than I am, then you can always draw this out ahead of time. That's totally fine. If you want to sketch it out and do it that way, like, you can totally do that as well. I'm just roughing it in with the paint, and then right down around here is where we'll have the little paving stones. So just kind of do sort of a brown line, because a lot of that I think will be in shadow. So just kind of do a line across the bottom so you know roughly where that's gonna go. So, and we're gonna clean our brush again, and we're going to take, if you have something to mix colors on, this is the time to do it. Take a little bit of brown and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, and kind of mix it together, and you'll get this sort of yellow tan sort of look. And you can add a little bit more yellow if you want. We're trying to get sort of that stucco look to it, a little bit more white. And a lot of that'll be covered up in the rest of the, with like greenery and things like that. So if it looks a little bit ugly, like, that's totally fine. It's not going to look like that forever. This is just kind of getting the background color of the Hobbit house with the limited colors that we can do for this. So again, if you want it lighter, you can just put in some more white to kind of dull it down a bit. So it's kind of like a light mustardy sort of color. That's kind of what it looks like. So just go light on the brown and a bit heavier on the white and the yellow. But again, like, if it doesn't look quite right, it's okay, because we can always add more greenery, more flowers, cover it up. It's totally fine. It's just kind of getting the background here taken care of. So just go ahead and get the rest of that kind of mustardy color on there. And again, it doesn't have to be very thick or anything. You don't even necessarily have to cover up every little, bit of white. It's just we're just getting the basic thing down. So there we go. So we have the basic there. And then we're going to clean our brush again. Rinse it off in the water, wipe it down. And then we're going to go ahead and put the yellow, just straight up yellow, on the door. Those Hobbit doors tend to be either light green or bright yellow. I have seen paintings done where it has like a robin's egg blue. So really you can do whatever color you really want, but we're just going to do yellow because that is the most well-known color for Hobbit doors. It tends to be yellow and green are like their favorite colors, so you see a lot of that in their coloring and architecture. So there we go. And then we will, oops, accidentally. And if you do grab, like, see, I had a little bit of brown that was still wet that I accidentally drug my brush through, and that's okay if that happens, because then you can just kind of go ahead and do the lines for the door, because it is a wooden door, and wooden doors have grain, so you can totally do that right at this moment if you want, if there's still a little bit of brown. See, I've got some brown that was still wet, so I just kind of drug that down and made some of the lines for the wood of the Hobbit door. So okay, so now we are going to take a little bit of the ultramarine blue, a little bit of black, and mix that together. A little more of the blue and a dab of white. So if you mix the black, the ultramarine blue, and a little bit of white together, you get this nice kind of gray. So we're going to use that in the windows to sort of fill in, because the windows are kind of shadowed, so you can't really see inside. So we're going to use that in the windows. And we'll also use this for the rocks. And don't worry, we'll add some like glints to the windows, so that way it's not just these black gaping holes just sort of staring at you. So I get a little bit more black, dab of white, some more blue. And again, depending on the mixture that you make will depend on what the how dark or light it is. So now we're going to make the cobblestones and just leave a little bit of space in between them, because remember, stones are not they're not uniform, so it is totally okay for them to be different weird sizes. And so you can have like a large one, you can have some small ones, and just kind of indicate that they're sort of going off the edge. There. Okay. So there we go. And we're going to go ahead and do some sky up above for mine. Again, if you are doing just completely green, then you don't even need to worry about this part. You would just have the green all the way up here. I'm doing a little bit of sky, so I'm taking a tiny dab of blue, a little bit of white, and mixing it together to create this light sort of blue-gray color. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more blue. So we want the blue, because we can use the blue-gray like for accents on like the stones and stuff. But for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and make that be the sky up here with just another tap of blue to make it a little more blue and a little less gray. And we're going to go ahead and do that up there. And then we will just go ahead and let all of that dry. I know it's really rough right now, but we'll let that dry and then go into the next bit. Okay, so now that everything has dried, we can go ahead and start adding some more details, some more texture, some refining here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brown And I'm going to go over the door frame here and make that a little more defined and distinct. And go along. So that way it looks a little more like a door and less just like a circle. Okay, there's that. I'm hoping all my kitties are just coming around to look at what's going on. Hi, Phantom. Okay. No, I'm painting. Yes, hi. Hi. No, don't stick your whiskers in the paint. Alright, and so now that I've got the door a little more defined, then I'm going to do the same thing with the windows. And we're also going to add little flower boxes to the windows because the hobbits are very much into gardening, and so of course they would decorate everything with flowers and herbs and things like that. So we are going to add just a kind of a box shape just right under the window, like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. There we go. Okay, clean my brush again. And we are going to get just a little tiny bit of brown here and kind of darken up kind of give the wood grain a little bit more of a definition here. And then we're going to go ahead and on the windows do a little cross piece here. Little cross pieces there. And then I'm going to clean my brush. And if you don't have any more of that that white and blue that we mixed together for the sky, go ahead and mix up a little bit more with a tiny dash of black, so that way it's more blue. And then we're going to kind of add some of that lighter color to the windows. And then I'm going to clean my brush and add a little bit of white. Just a tiny bit. Because you know how windows kind of have a kind of have a reflective... Oh, my brush is not dry enough. Make sure your brush is dry before you start trying to put paint on this part here. There's a little bit of... That one has too much white. I might have to take some of that off. I might have to paint over part of that one, part of this window here that kind of messed up a little bit. But you see, it kind of gives this sort of reflective-ish look to the window. So now we are going to go back to our green, and we're going to take some green and we're going to mix a tiny bit of blue in there to darken it up. So it's a slightly darker green, more shadowy. And we're going to do that right across here. You see how that's a darker shade than previously, and that's using, because usually shadows don't usually have actual black in them. It's a blue. Especially with like organic materials, so adding blue to the green to darken it rather than black lets it keep that organic shadowiness to it without just making it like another form of like brown or gray. So we're gonna do that right along here, because this is where the eaves are. And we just kind of do a little bloop, 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 bloop. If you need it darker, if you need some darkerness, just add a little bit more blue, but not too much, because otherwise then you'll just go right into blue territory, and we're not quite there. We're doing more of a blue-green kind of thing right across here. And across there. Okay, cool. So now we'll add some green and some yellow together to make a lighter, brighter green. And the more yellow you add, the brighter it's going to be. So then we just start putting that up here. And we'll end up putting some just out and out yellow as well, but some yellow green. Because this is September, so there's gonna be, you know, all kinds of, if you need just some regular straight up green. Yeah, just keeping it, you know, just keeping it really, really loose and organic, and just kind of, you know, just keeping it as, just again, as organic and as possible. If you want to mix any white in, you can do that. I'm going to just do a couple, to make it look a little bit more like grass up there. I'm just gonna do some, and I'm gonna some dark green and just do some stalks, a couple dark green, slopes here and there. the, all depending on how the light's hitting it, and just, yeah, just keeping it all really, really loose and organic. And then we'll get some more of the regular green, and we're gonna just kind of have some of the plants and ivy just kind of come down here. And we'll have some more over here, just kind of dripping over the windowsill. Have some of the darker green here. A couple lighter dabs here. It's all very just impressionistic. Just little dabs here and there. You can have some kind of hanging over the door a little bit. There we go. So you see that's starting to look a little bit more like what it's supposed to. And now we're gonna take some more of the regular green and mix it together with some more blue for the stuff down here. So I'm gonna get some more of that. Get some regular green and some blue. Mix it together. And again, this is all very ish and everything, so you can totally just, you know, whatever shade works for you. It's just since this is down lower on the ground and there's a little bit of like an overhang and everything, I just wanted to make sure that the trying to make the grass area a little bit darker, just so it stands out a little bit better. A little bit of a darker green, and then making it go around the stones there. And again, the nice thing is if you do something that you don't particularly care for, you can always paint over it. That's not a problem. And if this is too light for your taste, then we can always like wait and let it dry and then go back over it with another round of color or paint there, because sometimes, especially when you've been cleaning your brush a lot, you can get kind of, you can see some of it's a little bit streaky as I'm trying to do some grass here. So some of it's a little bit streaky because my brush is very wet from all of the cleaning and switching colors and things like that. So don't be surprised if that's something that you have to worry about, or that's something that you see. We can always take care of it. That's not a problem. And again, if you happen to have sides on your canvas, don't forget to take care of those. So I'm using up some of my extra green paint, and then I can just do, you can always do a couple more. There. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and draw some attention back to the rocks. So we're going to take a dab of black, a dab of blue, actually a little bit more blue, mix that together, and then get some white so we can make a lighter blue-gray color, again, kind of like what we would made with the sky originally, and get a, sorry about the tapping, that's my palette tapping on my chamber door. No, wait, that's next month. So I'm gonna kind of get a few dabs of the I might just go ahead, actually I like that gray a bit better, so we'll just cover them like that. I'll do slightly darker along the edge. You want to make sure your rocks have some definition. Along the edge there, and then adding in some more white. Give them some texture. Now I'm going to try to fix my window here, since that had there we go, that's better. So now the windows have a little bit more definition there. Yay! Okay, and you see how the stones have a little bit more character here. They've got some highlights on them. And we'll have to do a little bit of shading on the inside of the door to make it a little bit more three-dimensional. Because right now we're still a little bit flat. Not too bad. We're not bad. But we're still a little bit flat. And we should probably have a little bit of shadow underneath here as well to try to make that a little more three-dimensional. So that we'll get some brown, some white, and some yellow to kind of recreate our tan. So we're going to need that for the door as well. So we have a slightly darker mustardy color, and we can just kind of do a little bit of a shadow. There we go. Alrighty, so I'll have a little bit more shadow here. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything, just kind of giving showing that there's a little bit of shadow and curve there. There we go. Ain't perfect, but you know what? I kind of like that. I'm gonna clean my brush again, and I'm gonna get a little tiny bit of water, just have it very slightly damp, and try to smooth that out a bit. And we can always take more just straight up yellow. And kind of try to There we go. Alrighty. I'm liking that. I'm liking how that's looking. So we've got a little bit of shadow there. We've got some shadows there. We've got some nice greenery. And so we're going to end up adding, we're going to add a little bit more greenery in the flower boxes right there. And we'll add a doorknob and then also some blue plants just to give it a little bit more color, a little bit more pop. So we're going to take our brown and we're going to put that in. Most Hobbit houses, their doorknobs are actually in the middle. So we're going to set it in the middle and then we're just going to turn our brush in a circle like that. There we go. There we go, and we will just kind of do a little bit of a shadow. There we go. Just making sure that your shadows, if they're having any kind of angle, making them all go the same way. So like these shadows here are slightly angled. So the shadow from the doorknob is slightly angled, as is this one. So it doesn't matter. I mean, since there really isn't like a light source being shown on here necessarily, the shadows can kind of come from anywhere. You just need to make sure that it's consistent. So sometimes it's a little hard to visualize, but you're trying to visualize, okay, like over here is the sun, like the sun's up here, so it's kind of shining down this way-ish, so that's causing some shadows. So you just try to keep that consistent. It takes a bit of practice, but if you like look at different things, it can kind of give you a better idea in nature, like what that looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry, and then we will come back. Actually, you know, before we let that dry, I'm going to add the green for the flower boxes because I think that should be okay now. So we just want to do just some regular green, and I'm just putting that right across here. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera there. There we go. All right, cool. So we've got some green there. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and let all of that dry, and then we will do the finishing touches with the flowers. So depending on how much paint you've got on there, you might need to give it like 10-15 minutes, and then we will come back and finish. Okay, so once everything has dried, now we can go ahead and start adding some flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of a stalk. Add a bit of a stalk there, just to give you an idea of where things are going to be. And So we're going to do some flowers here, and we're actually going to be doing blue flowers, so that way that kind of matches in with the other tints of blue and everything. And there are some flowers, blue flowers that bloom in the late summer, early autumn, like delphinus and cornflowers and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and get some just straight up blue and do a couple of those. Now, if you have other paint colors that you want to use instead of the blue, if you want to, you know, have some orange or red or pink or whatever, you're welcome to do that. It's just that since we only have so many, you know, we only have so many colors that we can include at one time, that's why we're just doing we're just doing the blue, because that was a color that was already going to be included, and we just don't have room for doing like a bajillion other colors. So hence why we're just doing some blues, but we'll also do some whites as well, because we can certainly do that. If you want to mix, what you can do, if you want some different shades of blue, you can take some white, mix that with the blue, and make some lighter blue. So we got a couple, we can have a couple like little cornflowers. We can have some of those peeking around. Let's see, even lighter. Just use the corner of your brush to add some of those. And I'm gonna try to do like a medium blue. Let me see what I can do here. And then in the flower boxes, I wanted to put some flowers in there. They're kind of spilling out of the baskets. And then I'll get a little bit of white and just add some. And a few little highlights. Just the edge of the brush. There we go. And I think I'm gonna add a few more dabs of yellow up here towards the top. And if you even want to add some flowers up there, you know, if you want some more dandelions or you want some more white. Do not drink the paint water, Phantom. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty, and there, let's see, I think I just need a teeny tiny bit. I think I need just a teeny tiny bit more of a highlight in the windows. There we go. Alright. right, and so there we go. We have our little hobbit house with its blooming flowers, and yeah, I think that turned out pretty well. And like I said, if you have your own paints that you want to add some more color to it than what we were able to include in the kit, feel free. I'd love to see, you know, what you folks decide to add if you wanted to do that. But there we go. So we have our little hobbit house. So I hope you folks enjoyed this tiny art for adults and teens, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one.